Today we are diving into the number 7 within the Bible. There are so many numbers within the scriptures, each with a significant meaning. Many people know that the original Hebrew meaning of 7 means completeness or fulfilled. Also, heifer is used many other places in the scriptures, and we will cover those in a future video. One may ask, did the Jews misunderstand the scriptures? The number 7 signifies what is holy or holy things is evident because 7 so frequently occurs. For example, they were to sprinkle of the blood and the oil 7 times, as related in Leviticus. Moses took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and all that was therein, and sanctified them. And he sprinkled thereof upon the altar 7 times, and anointed the altar and all its vessels to sanctify them. Leviticus 8, 10, 11. Here, 7 times would be entirely without significance if what is holy were not thus represented. And in another place, when Aaron came into the holy place, it is said, "He shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle with his finger upon the faces of the mercy seat toward the east, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times." Leviticus 16:14. And so at the altar, he shall sprinkle of the blood upon it with his finger 7 times and cleanse it and sanctify it. Leviticus 16:19. The particulars here, each and all, signify the Lord himself, and therefore the Holy of Love, that is to say, the blood, the mercy seat, and also the altar and the east, toward which the blood was to be sprinkled, and therefore also 7. And likewise in the sacrifices of which in Leviticus, if a soul shall sin through error, and if the anointed priest shall sin so as to bring guilt on the people, he shall slay the bullock before Jehovah, and the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before Jehovah, toward the veil of the sanctuary. Leviticus 4, 2, 3, and 6. Here in like manner 7 signifies what is holy, because the subject treated of is expiation, the act or process of making atonement for something which is of the Lord alone, and therefore the subject treated of is the Lord. Similar rites were also instituted in respect to the cleansing of leprosy, concerning which the priest shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy, of the blood of the bird, with cedar wood and scarlet and hyssop 7 times, and shall make him clean. In like manner, he was to sprinkle of the oil that was upon the palm of his left hand 7 times before Jehovah. And so in a house where there was leprosy, he was to take cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet, and with the blood of the bird sprinkle 7 times. For example, they were to sprinkle of the blood and the oil 7 times, as related in Leviticus. Take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and with the blood of the bird sprinkle 7 times. Leviticus 14, 6, 7, 27, 51. Here anyone may see that there is nothing at all in the cedar wood, the scarlet, the oil, the blood of a bird, nor yet in 7, except from the fact that they are representative of holy things. Take away from them what is holy, and all that remains is dead, or profanely idolatrous. But when they signify holy things, there is divine worship therein, which is internal and is only represented by the externals. But yet perhaps the Jews did not know what these things signified, nor do many at the present day know what was signified by the cedar wood, the hyssop, the scarlet, and the bird. We will be making other videos about those and other words. But if they had only been willing to think that holy things were involved which they did not know, and if they had worshipped the Lord, or the Messiah who was to come, who would heal them of their leprosy, that is, of their profanation of holy things, they might have been saved. And in like manner it was commanded respecting the red heifer. The priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood toward the face of the tent of meeting 7 times. Numbers 19, 4. Innumerable people see this as a type and shadow of Jesus the Messiah, crucified on the cross. As the 7th day, or Sabbath, signified the Lord, and from him the celestial man and the celestial itself, the 7th day in the Jewish church was of all religious observances the most holy. And hence came the Sabbath of the Sabbath in the 7th year, Leviticus 25:4, and the Jubilee that was proclaimed after the 7 Sabbaths of years, or after 7 times 7 years. Leviticus 25:8 and 9, and thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. That the highest sense 7 signifies the Lord, and hence the Holy of Love, is evident also from the golden candlestick and its 7 lamps, concerning which in Exodus 25, 31-33 and 37 it says, And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops and his flowers shall be of the same. And he made the candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. And said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold a candlestick all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof. 33. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knop and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knop and a flower, so in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And 37. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. And in Exodus 37, 17 through 19 and 23, And he made the candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work made he the candlestick. His shaft and his branch, his bowls, his knops and his flowers were of the same. And 6 branches going out of the sides thereof, 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side thereof, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side thereof. 3 bowls made after the fashion of almonds in one branch, a knop and a flower, and 3 bowls made like almonds in another branch, a knop and a flower, so throughout the 6 branches going out of the candlestick. And he made his 7 lamps, and his snuffers, and his snuff dishes of pure gold. And said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold a candlestick all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof. Zechariah 4, 2. And of which it is thus written by John, 7 golden lampstands, and in the midst of the 7 lampstands one like unto the Son of Man. Revelation 1:12-13. It very clearly appears in this passage that the lampstand with the 7 lamps signifies the Lord, and that the lamps are the holy things of love, or celestial things, and therefore they were 7. And again, out of the throne went forth 7 torches of fire, burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. Revelation 4:5. Here the 7 torches that went forth out of the throne of the Lord are the 7 lights or lamps. The same is signified wherever the number 7 occurs in the prophets, as in Isaiah. The light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be 7-fold, as the light of 7 days, in the day that Jehovah bindeth up the breach of his people. Isaiah 30:26. Here the 7-fold light, as the light of 7 days, does not signify 7-fold, but the holy of the love signified by the sun. John in Revelation to the 7 churches signifies to all who are in the Christian world where the word is, and by it the Lord is known, and who draw near to the church. By the 7 churches are not meant 7 churches, but all who are of the church in the Christian world. For numbers in the word signify things, and 7 all things in all, and thence also what is full and perfect. And it occurs in the word where anything holy is treated of, and in the opposite sense of anything profane. Consequently, this number involves what is holy, and in the opposite sense what is profane. The reason why numbers signify things, or rather resemble certain adjectives to substantives adding some quality to the things, is because number is in itself natural. For natural things are determined by numbers, but spiritual things by things and their states. Therefore, he who does not know the signification of numbers in the Word, and especially in Revelation, cannot know the many arcana which are contained therein. Now, since 7 signifies all things and all, it may appear that by the 7 churches are meant all who are in the Christian world where the Word is, and by it the Lord is known. These, if they live according to the Lord's precepts in the Word, make the church itself. In David, 7 times a day do I praise thee, because of the judgments of thy righteousness. Psalm 119, 164. Render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom. Psalm 79, 12. Sevenfold denotes to the full. In like manner in Moses, that they should be punished sevenfold if they transgress the commandments and the statutes. Leviticus 26, 18. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. 21. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. 24. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled which I cast out before you. 28. That the land spew not you out also when ye defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. He who does not know that 7 signifies an entire period from beginning to end, consequently what is full, must believe that 7 weeks signify 7 periods of time in the following passage. Know thou, and perceive that from the going forth of the word, even unto the restoring and building of Jerusalem, even to Messiah the Prince, shall be 7 weeks. Daniel 9:25. But the 7 weeks even to Messiah the Prince signify that which is said of the Lord, that he will come in the fullness of the times. Thus they signify an entire period. From this it is evident that the 7 spirits before the throne of God, Revelation 1:4, the book sealed with 7 seals, Revelation 5:1, and the 7 angels having 7 vials, which are the 7 last plagues, in Revelation 15:1, 6, 7. Revelation 15:1, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. 6. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. 7. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. 21:9. And there came unto me one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. These do not mean 7 spirits, nor 7 seals, nor 7 angels, nor 7 vials, nor 7 plagues, but all things in fullness. So by the barren one bearing 7 in 1 Samuel 2:5, they that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren hath borne 7, and she that hath many children is waxed feeble, is not meant 7 but much, even to fullness. Because 7 had such a signification, it was therefore ordained that a priest at his initiation should put on the garments 7 days, Exodus 29:30, that his hands should be filled 7 days, verses 24-35, that the altar should be sanctified 7 days, verse 37, and that those who were initiated into the priesthood should not go out from the tent for 7 days, Leviticus 8:33. In like manner, when the unclean spirit goeth out of a man and returneth with 7 others, Matthew 12:43, 45, Luke 11:24, 26. If a brother sin 7 times in the day and 7 times turn again, he should be forgiven, Luke 17:4, and that the heart of Nebuchadnezzar should be changed from a man's, and a beast's heart be given to him, until 7 times had passed over him, Daniel 4:16, 23, 25. From this also it was that Job's friends sat down with him upon the earth 7 days and 7 nights, and spoke nothing unto him, Job 2:13. And that 70 in like manner signifies what is full. From all this it can now be seen that by the 8th day is signified the beginning of the following state. And hence the Lord's coming into the world, and in glory, and every coming of the Lord, is described equally by the 7th and by the 3rd day. For this reason the 2 days that precede are not holy, but relatively are profane. Thus in Hosea, Come and let us return unto Jehovah, for he hath wounded, and he will revive us. On the 3rd day he will raise us up, and we shall live. He will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. After 2 days before him, Hosea 6:1-2. And in Zechariah, It shall come to pass in all the land means the church, saith Jehovah, that 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, and the 3rd shall be left therein, and I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined. Zechariah 13:8-9. And that silver was most pure when purified 7 times appears in Psalm 12:6. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times, from all of which it is plain that as 7 does not signify 7, but things that are holy. So by pairs are signified not pairs, but things relatively profane. And therefore the meaning is not that the unclean beasts or evil affections, in comparison with the clean beasts or good affections, were few in the proportion of 2 to 7, for the evils in man are far more numerous than the goods. Likewise, that 7 signifies things that are holy, and here holy truths, which are holy from the fact that they come from goods. No truth is holy unless it comes from good. A man may utter many truths from the word and thus from memory, but if it is not love or charity that brings them forth, nothing holy can be predicated of them. But if he has love and charity, then he acknowledges and believes, and this from the heart. And it is the same with faith, of which so many say that it alone saves. If there is no love or charity from which the faith comes, there is no faith. Love and charity are what make faith holy. The Lord is in love and charity, but not in faith that is separated from charity. In faith separated is the man himself, in whom there is nothing but uncleanness, as the beasts. For when faith is separated from love, his own praise, or his own advantage, is the moving cause that is in his heart, and from which he speaks. This everyone may know from his own experience. Whoever tells anyone that he loves him, that he prefers him to others, that he acknowledges him as the best of men, and the like, and yet in heart thinks otherwise, does this only with his mouth, and in heart denies, and sometimes makes fun of him. They who in the life of the body have preached the Lord in faith with so much eloquence, together with feigned devoutness, as to astonish their hearers, and have not done it from the heart, in the other life are among those who bear the greatest hatred toward the Lord, and who persecute the faithful. In 7 days signifies the Lord's coming into the world, also his coming into glory, and every coming of the Lord in particular. It is an attendant feature of every coming of the Lord that it is a beginning to those who are being regenerated, and is the end of those who are being vastated. Thus to the man of this church, the Lord's coming was the beginning of temptation, for when man is tempted, he begins to become a new man and to be regenerated. And at the same time it was the end of those of the most ancient church who had become such that they could not but perish. Just so when the Lord came into the world, the church at that time was in its last state of vastation and was then made new. That these things are signified by "in yet 7 days" is evident in Daniel 9:24-25. 70 weeks are decreed upon thy people and upon the city of thy holiness to consummate the transgression, to seal up sins, and to purge away iniquity, and to bring in the righteousness of the ages, and to seal up vision and prophet, and to anoint the Holy of Holies. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. Here, 70 weeks and 7 weeks signify the same as 7 days, namely the coming of the Lord. But as here there is a manifest prophecy, the times are still more sacredly and certainly designated by septenary numbers, a group or set of 7. It is evident then not only that 7 thus applied to times signifies the coming of the Lord, but that the beginning also of a new church at that time is signified by the anointing of the Holy of the Holies, and by Jerusalem being restored and built. And at the same time the last vastation is signified by the words, 70 weeks are decreed upon the city of holiness, to consummate the transgression and to seal up sins. So in other places in the Word, as in Ezekiel, where he says of himself, Then I came to them of the captivity at Tel Abib, that dwelt by the river of Chebar, and I sat where they sat, and remained there astonished among them 7 days. And it came to pass at the end of 7 days, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. Here also 7 days denote the beginning of visitation. For after 7 days, while he sat among those who were in captivity, the word of Jehovah came unto him. Again, They shall bury Gog, that they may cleanse the land, 7 months. At the end of 7 months they shall search. Ezekiel 39:12-14. Here likewise 7 denotes the last limit of vastation and the first of visitation. In Daniel 4:16-25, the heart of Nebuchadnezzar shall they change from man, and the heart of a beast shall be given unto him, and 7 times shall pass over him. And 32, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. Denoting in like manner the end of vastation, and the beginning of a new man. The 70 years of Babylonish captivity is also the same. Whether the number is 70 or 7, it involves the same, be it 7 days or 7 years or 7 ages, which make 70 years. Vastation was represented by the years of captivity. The beginning of a new church by the liberation and the rebuilding of the temple. Similar things are also represented by the service of Jacob with Laban. I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel. And Laban said, Fulfill this week, and I will give thee her also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled this week. Genesis 29:18, 20, 27, 28. Here the 7 years of service involve the same, and also that after the days of 7 years came the marriage and freedom. This period of 7 years was called a week, as also in Daniel. The same was also in the command that they should compass the city of Jericho 7 times, and the wall would then fall down. And it is said, On the 7th day they rose with the dawn, and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time the 7 priests blew the 7 trumpets, and the wall fell down. Joshua 6:10-20. If these things had not likewise had such a signification, the command that they should compass the city 7 times, and that there should be 7 priests and 7 trumpets would never have been given. From these and many other passages, as Job 2:13, Revelation 15:1, 6, 7, 21, 9, it is evident that in 7 days signifies the beginning of a new church and the end of the old. When anything most holy or sacred was to be expressed, it was said 77-fold, as when the Lord said that a man should forgive his brother not until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Matthew 18:22 meant that they should forgive as many times as he sins, so that forgiving should be without end, or should be eternal, which is holy. And with opposite of holiness, that Lamech should be avenged 70 and 7-fold means damnation, because of the violation of that which is most sacred. 7 signifies what is complete, or fulfilled, is evident from many other passages. We hope you enjoyed this video. We still have many more to make. To be notified when we upload them, just click the subscribe button, and feel free to watch our previous videos. Thanks again. Until next time.